Mexican fans of Two Door Cinema Club. It is nice to see you over Zoom. And yeah, hope you're all keeping well, keeping safe. We're very excited to see you soon. I think I'm starting to get a bit bored of it now. I think initially it was all okay. How do we use this time really productively? And we'll do this, we'll do that. I'll start baking bread. I'll write music. And then you complete all those things very quickly, and then you know you're a bit lost for hobbies then. Um, but no, feeling good. It definitely feels like um, I don't know. We're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. We have some music, um, concerts and gigs coming up that will be interesting and new. And I definitely feel like next year is going to be a great year for music. Um, I don't know. I think I'm generally pretty self-aware, but I think it has highlighted the importance of little things that we kind of take for granted. Seeing family or spending time with friends, and just simple things like going out, with your partner and having a nice meal and having someone else cook it and serve you or whatever, that you kind of take that for granted, and then now obviously that's such a big deal, and that feels like such a luxury. And I think that we don't almost sometimes appreciate the kind of healing aspect of and how much beings that we actually are, and how restorative that is to our mental health to spend time with people that you care about, and you know have fun and have a laugh. And but Zoom or whatever medium you use doesn't really cut it. But yeah. Obviously, like everyone else, I was like, boom, I'm gonna exercise loads. I'm gonna be the fittest man alive. So I started to run a lot more, and I found myself, really leaning towards some older, more aggressive dance music. I don't know if it brought, it definitely was a catharsis, but I don't know if I would call it joy. But I was, listening to a lot of like early soul wax and moderat and apparat, and I was using that to kind of spur me on for that extra mile, I guess. I don't know if I would say bad memories, but it was certainly, I don't know. I think all of us, especially when you are the age that we are, like 30, that you did when you were 17, it can be a little bit hard to look at, because obviously you're a very different person. You're young, you're naive. So there was a bit of element, there's a bit of an element of that when we were looking back at some of the old things we did. And there's obviously a lot of songs and other pieces of music that we wrote that we were just too bad to even include on on this EP. So yeah, there was certainly a bit of, there was some slight quality control for sure. I think it's a nice thing to, kind of stand at the point we're at now and kind of turn around and look back down the road that we've come down, and the twists and turns, and seeing how we got here, and to be able to connect to the people that we were when we were writing these songs. We were 17, 18 years old, still very sheltered, living in Ireland, and you know never in our kind of wildest dreams would we have imagined that we'd have ended up here. So I think it was really nice to kind of connect to back to that kind of um, naive youth that we had, and and to see how far these songs came. Some of them obviously never ended up being on our first album or whatever, but then some of them obviously did end up that way, and I think that shaped, and those songs definitely shaped what we became.
Yeah.
Boy, where were we? Shows in Europe, and yeah, it was really nice because we hadn't played a headline tour, done a headline tour in Europe for a while, so it was really really nice to get back to Paris and Brussels and Berlin and a load of cities that we love to play in but hadn't been in a while. Probably always leave something on the table, and I think it's kind of been our philosophy with playing live and um, promoting concerts and things like that. You know, it's very easy, especially early on when you're all the momentum seems to be going one direction, and um you feel like you're like the biggest band in the world. Be like, oh, maybe we could do this big arena, and you kind of almost puff your chest out and go as big as you can, and just go for it. And we've kind of learned that as much as you don't maybe get the press or media kudos for doing the biggest room, and we always thought of it like, well, why don't we do something that's half or three quarters of the size that we could actually do, make sure it's sold out, then there's always something left on the table for us to come back, and we always kind of know a bit more accurately what we're worth, and it keeps people hopefully wanting a bit more. And I think that's probably the best advice that we got early on. I think it's hard when you're young and it feels like it's going so well that you kind of just want to do the big room that you've always dreamed of and play the biggest show ever. But um, being a bit more pragmatic and being smart about it definitely held us in good stead. For us, not really very much because, well, basically albums are so fucking expensive to record, that I think in terms of at the point where from the writing stage to the finished product, there's I don't know, 50% of it doesn't make the record, but we never go into the studio and record something that we're not sure about. Sometimes we need some work and redone, but we know the essence of the song is there. So yeah, very little when we are in the studio, but on the writing stage, a lot gets left out. But yeah, Tiptoes probably, because that song was just a bastard. We loved it, but we just could never make it quite sit right when we recorded it. It was always like really fun to play live when we were playing around Ireland. And we went into the studio to record the first album, and it was the one song that we just didn't get time to finish when we were there. It just couldn't get it to work. So I guess probably we thought it would just never see the light of day. But obviously the version on this EP is like the original demo version. So I am kind of proud that in some shape or form it actually was released at some point. Thank you so much, genuinely, for the support. It's hard to be further from Ireland and hard to be further from where we're from, but we've always felt so welcome, and we just have had the best time. And everyone we've met has been so lovely and so warm, and yeah, it honestly feels like a bit of a second home for us. You know, we love playing there so much and coming to Mexico. So yeah, just thank you so much for being so kind and supporting the band.